Hello everyone, and welcome back to Secrets Behind the Stars. I'm thrilled you're here because today we're finally tackling a mystery that has been buzzing across timelines and group chats all week. If you've been following the whirl of speculation surrounding that elegant awards gala where a very familiar Turkish star was caught in a warm embrace, this one's for you. The questions haven't stopped since the photos surfaced. Who was the man hugging the stunning Ebru in that glittering, blink and you might miss it moment on the carpet? Was it a dear friend? A rekindled spark from the past? A surprise new chapter? The possibilities fueled a whirlwind, and trust me, we saw every theory under the sun. Here at Secrets Behind the Stars, we love a good riddle, but we also love to do our homework. If you haven't already, tap subscribe and ring that notification bell so you don't miss our deep dives into the brightest headlines from Turkey to Hollywood and beyond. Now, let's unpack what happened, how the frenzy started, and how it all led back to one name that everyone has been whispering about, hoping for, and analyzing frame by frame. First, a little reminder. Ebru is one of the most compelling talents of her generation, known for that captivating blend of fire and grace that pulls you into every character she plays. Whenever she steps onto a stage or glides past the cameras, attention naturally follows. And on this particular night, the Pantene Altın Kelebek Awards, where the biggest names in television and music gather under golden lights, she glowed. The gown, the poise within the whirlwind. You know the vibe. Then, as flashes cracked across the room, a single hug captured in a brief series of photos sent everyone spiraling into detective mode. In the image, Ebru leans in, smiling, arms around a tall figure whose face is partially obscured by the angle and the traffic of the red carpet. One shot shows the silhouette from the side, another frames the embrace from behind, and suddenly your inbox is full of screenshots and circles drawn in red. Was it a friendly greeting? Something more? The threads burned bright with speculation, an old co-star? A private romance finally slipping into the spotlight? A well-kept secret from the past resurfacing at exactly the wrong, or right, moment? It didn't help that the evening itself, with its sea of sequins and cast reunions, offered a perfect landscape for imagination to run wild. Fan pages parsed the smallest details, a watchband, the way a shoulder line meets a lapel, how a hand rests on a back. Some insisted the stance was familiar. Others swore they recognized that distinctive profile. A few argued it was absolutely a new face, someone anonymous who dropped in from nowhere, which only poured more fuel on the fire. Our team went straight to the source material. We traced the carpet flow, matched timestamps, compared angles, and reached out to contacts who were on site the night of the ceremony. We listened to whispers and cross-checked them against recent appearances, interviews, and professional schedules. And after that careful sweep, one answer stood out, clear, consistent, undeniable once you put all the puzzle pieces in the right light. The name behind the hug is Akın. Yes, that Akın. The actor whose presence can redirect a room's energy in a heartbeat. The performer with intensity in his gaze and discipline in every move, whose on-screen power has left an imprint on audiences far beyond Turkey's borders. He has built a reputation not only for his craft but for maintaining a measured, respectful distance between the spectacle and his personal life. So when the clips and photos caught a glimpse of him sharing that moment with Ebru, fans did what fans do best. They felt everything at once. Now, you're probably asking the question that has fueled the confusion: why did a simple hug turn into a full-blown storm? The answer is part real-life chemistry, part public memory. When two performers have a shared history that people loved, when they've held a scene together so tightly that you swore you could feel the breath between them, every new interaction becomes a lightning rod. The crowd remembers. The crowd hopes. And the crowd never forgets the looks, the pauses, the kind of timing that makes romance bloom on screen and lingers in the mind long after the credits. Here's what our sources confirm. Ebru and Akın were sharing a warm, friendly greeting in the middle of a high-spirited night packed with reunions, congratulations, and quick exchanges between colleagues. The moment was affectionate but grounded, the sort of embrace you give someone whose success you're proud of, whose journey you understand, and whose presence you genuinely appreciate. No grand statements. No whispered declarations drowned by the thrum of cameras. A hug. Simple, human, and, in that environment, very normal. But once the internet gets a scent of potential romance, we all know what happens next. Timelines erupt. Editors send out feelers. People start connecting dots that may or may not be meant to be connected. The hug becomes an event, and the event becomes a narrative. And let's be honest, part of the thrill of watching stars isn't just the projects they choose, it's the shimmering maybe that lives around them. Maybe they're in love. Maybe it's a reunion. Maybe the look meant something more. It's the heartbeat of gossip culture, the possibility. In this case, though, possibility bows to reality. The reality is respectful, warm, and, above all, professional. It reflects something beautiful that is often overlooked in the competitive atmosphere of show business. Two artists can share authentic support without it being a secret confession. That alone says a lot about both of them. It speaks to the discipline it takes to move through endless cameras without letting them redefine your intentions. It suggests a grace that doesn't need declaring, and a confidence in the bond they've built over time. Think about the setting again. The Pantene Alton Kellebec Gala is a place of collective celebration. It's an evening where colleagues meet in corridors and at stairwells and beneath chandeliers, where wins are toasted and losses are softened by warm words, where past collaborations resurface in quick smiles and future ones are born in a glance. Hugs aren't rare there, they're part of the language of the night. So when the image of Ebru and Akın became public, it was less a revelation and more a reminder. These are real people, with real connections, moving through an unreal atmosphere. Of course, as fans, we love the dream. We feel invested in the arcs they've played and the sparks they've ignited on screen, and sometimes it's hard to let those sparks belong to fiction. That's not a flaw, it's a testament to their work. If anything, the sheer volume of reaction proves how powerfully Ebru and Akın have moved their audiences. It's the kind of fuel that keeps a career burning bright. But it also comes with noise, and here the noise almost drowned out the truth. Almost. Let's also acknowledge something else. There's a support network among actors that we don't always see, one that extends beyond premieres and press junkets. It shows up in congratulatory messages sent at midnight, in quiet check-ins when schedules get brutal, in the sincerity of a hug that says, "I see what you're doing, and I'm proud of you." That's the energy we're hearing about from witnesses who saw the moment up close. It wasn't staged. It wasn't engineered. It was natural and quick, and then both of them moved along into the rest of the evening. So if you were expecting a secret romance to drop out of the sky tonight, I have to be honest with you, not this time. That doesn't make the story less interesting. In a way, it makes it more meaningful. Because we're reminded that their brilliance isn't limited to the electricity of what if. It also lives in the steadiness of friendship and the respect that lets two people share space without feeling compelled to perform more than what is true. For those who asked whether that moment might be a sign of something coming down the line, we'll say this: the future is its own story. What happened at the gala was a snapshot in the present. It might lead to a new project, a reunion on screen, or simply continue as a thread of personal camaraderie. Whatever form it takes, it will be because they choose it, not because a photo asked them to. And that, in itself, is a boundary worth cherishing. If your timeline is still crowded with theories, take a breath. The hug was between Ebru Şahin and Akın Akinozu, and it was a gesture of friendship. No coded message. No hidden revelation. Just two professionals meeting with warmth at one of the brightest nights on the calendar. And yes, we get it, the idea of more is intoxicating. But it's important to give them the room to define their lives as they see fit, and to enjoy the moments they offer without assigning them a script. We also can't ignore the lesson about the speed and scale of online attention. One image, a tiny window into a complex evening, becomes a Rorschach test for what everyone wants to see. That power can turn the smallest detail into a headline. But it can also give us a chance to practice a softer gaze. To say, maybe it's exactly what it looks like. Maybe kindness doesn't need to hide. Maybe the simplest explanation really is the truth. What lifts this story, in the end, is the way it recenters craft and character. The qualities that draw fans to Ebru and Akın, commitment, presence, quiet strength, are the same qualities that explain the hug. It's everything their work communicates distilled into a real-life moment, a calm acknowledgement in a loud room. And yes, that's a little less sensational than the rumor mill would like. But it's also more sustainable, more grounded, and frankly more admirable. So here's where we land. The mysterious figure in the Gala photos is Akın Akinozu. The embrace with Ebru Sahin was an affectionate, collegial greeting in the middle of a night dedicated to celebrating excellence. Nothing more was meant, nothing less was felt. And if that's not enough drama for your feed, remember that sometimes the truest stories are quiet. Not because they're empty, but because they don't need to shout to be real. Thank you for joining us on this little investigation and for sticking around to the end. I hope the clarity feels like a deep breath after a week of wild guesses. Now, tell me what you think. Did you suspect it was Akın from the start? Did this answer surprise you, or confirm what your gut already knew? And how do you feel about the way tiny, human gestures between public figures get magnified into potential epics? Drop your thoughts below. You know I read them all, and this community always brings the best perspective. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more carefully sourced dives into the stories everyone's talking about, give this video a like and share it with friends who can't resist a glamorous mystery. And if you haven't joined our family yet, hit subscribe to Secrets Behind the Stars and turn on notifications so you're always first to know when we uncover the truth behind the noise. Your support keeps us going, and your curiosity makes this work worth doing. That's all for now. Until next time, keep your eyes on the lights, your feet on the ground, and your heart open to the stories that matter.